Yeah, I loved Rex. Everyone knows. I mean, I've been on the show for a while, and I talk about how much I adore Rex and just his coaching, just his mind as a head coach. I mean, this guy, especially as a defensive coordinator, was just absolutely brilliant. Some of the things that he would do on the field, and as you spoke about as well, some of the ways he was able to motivate players and get the most out of them. But even after that, just some of the things, some of the things he would do, in the interviews as well, just the way he was so brash and he was just all about, absolutely out there showing pride and passion about the game of football. And that leads me to the question of, do you have a story that you could tell us about Rex Ryan, something funny about something he did in the locker room or after game speech where he was just able to get guys fired up?
I mean, Rex was definitely a motivator. We fed off Rex's energy. Rex wasn't a big speech guy. He just talked from the heart, man. He was just honest. He was just an honest coach, an honest person, and he rode the wave with us, man. Whether it was high or low, he rode the wave with us. He didn't point fingers. He didn't blame us. He stood out in front as a leader. There were way too many funny stories. I mean, and a lot of these things obviously we keep in house, man. I'm not like a lot of these new players, man. They don't know how to, keep family business. When I came in the NFL, family business was family business. So I can't tell all of the stories, but what was funny was when he actually told us in the meeting that we're out of playoff contention, and he's the coach, so clearly we think he knows what he's talking about. So we're like, wow, I guess we just need to finish up strong. And all of a sudden, he comes back, and the next meeting's like, well, guys, I was wrong. We still got a chance to go to the playoffs. And we all start laughing, like, I mean, most coaches they wouldn't have been able. They couldn't have laughed at themselves if they would have made that kind of a mistake. I mean, that's huge to tell your team that you got a playoff contention. It's kind of like, what do you're the head coach. Like, you should know that of anybody. That's what is you're motivating us, and just the fact that he took things in stride, man. He didn't take himself that seriously. The fact that he came back afterwards was like, well, I was wrong. We still get in the playoffs, and they like the whole we knew Rex so well that we all just started laughing, and he started laughing, and we were just super charged up and motivated. I remember after that meeting, I called our players meeting and told the coaches basically to get out, because sometimes I would tell the coaches to leave and just everyone get out, and then I would address the team or open the floor up for guys to talk. And I remember after that meeting, he left, and I just told the veteran guys, listen, guys, this is one of our last opportunities. I think that was maybe my 10th year in the league. I played in the Super Bowl, and I'm like, listen, man, we got a shot here in New York City to win the Super Bowl. You young players, I mean, you're not going to be playing forever. Some of you might not be here next year. Veterans, you might not ever get a chance like this again. So let's go after it. Let's go get it, man. Let's get to the Super Bowl. We got a shot. It was because, you go from this super low of like being told you don't have a shot to play for the biggest game in the world, and then the next week you're said, well, you still have a shot. It's like it's almost kind of like it was like a shot of adrenaline, and everyone responded. And I think ironically that was kind of one of the reasons why we started to play really well at that part of the point of the year to get us all the way to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, and the one thing is, Thomas, too, as fans, man, for us, it was like you guys had us going crazy. I mean, both years with Favre, and even that year, it was like a magical carpet ride. It was like, all right, it's like, especially with Rex, that year going to the championship game. It's like the whole city was inspired. Jet fans were going crazy. It's like it was just so much fun to watch, and you were such a valued leader that we all just had so much respect for you. And the one question I have for you is, as a vocal leader, as a guy that had the respect of the coaches and teammates, do you ever buy into a notion where a coach can lose a locker room? Because that's something that you hear a lot, especially in today's NFL.
Yeah, definitely, coach can lose a locker room if the players don't feel connected to the coach, or if they feel like the coach is abandoning them. Then yeah, because at the end of the day, we are a team, and to be a leader, I mean, it takes a lot of responsibility, because you have to constantly be on. You can never be off because the team's watching you. People are watching you. And, I mean, if you lose the locker room, it's like in any situation with a leader, it could be a mutiny, and once there's a mutiny, you can't get guys back. It's over. And it only takes a few guys to spearhead that, because the coaches aren't around the players all the time. We're around each other all the time. We're the ones that have to play, and the coaches have to coach. So yeah, you can definitely lose a team. I think that's kind of what happened in '07 with Eric. I think he kind of lost the team a little bit because some of the things that we had to do as far as some of the protocol things, like if you were injured, you had to ride the bike, you had to. I mean, there was just like no breathing room, and I think because of that and how poorly we were performing and playing, and the injuries, I think the players just really got disconnected from him. And then what he did a great job of was coming back in '08 and reconnecting with the players, and then we all bought in, and then that's why we had the success that we had. But yeah, you could definitely lose a team. You could definitely lose a team. It doesn't matter what level, whether it's professional ranks, college, high school, any situation where there's leadership. You can definitely lose the people that you're trying to lead.
And do you think? In this day and age of NFL, there's so much social media, man. With players are on it and all of it, doing all kinds of stuff. Do you think it's a lot harder to control players now because there's so many strong personalities and they kind of want their freedom to say what they want and do? Would it be harder to be a leader now, do you think, than it was when you played?
I mean, playing in any sport now, it's just a nightmare with social media. A nightmare. It's a gift and a curse. You can promote your brand, you can promote yourself as a player and all that stuff. But you also now you open yourself up to people who might not know what the hell they're talking about, or people who just don't like you, or haters, or whatever it may be. I personally, I don't even know when Twitter started. I was never on social media until after I retired. I think my account, I had an account. I think my publisher, someone set up an account for me maybe when it started, but I was never on Twitter, so I never was a part of this whole social media phase as I played. But now, being a retired player and being an actor and a producer, I stay engaged with fans, and I'm pretty vocal on Twitter, and it's an incredible platform because you can connect with people in so many ways. But the focus of a lot of players, like I can't imagine having a bad game and looking on Twitter and seeing 300 tweets of people saying how bad you are. I guess when I played, it was more so like message boards and things of that nature. If you wanted to go see what people were saying about you, but now it's right on your phone. It's literally right on your phone. Notifications, as soon as you got your phone, bam, the hate and disrespect is right there. So I definitely think it's harder to be a player in this era of football, and also as a coach, it is harder because you got so many guys on social media, and guys are tweeting and they're posting on Instagram and Facebook and book live from the locker room, and there's certain, but at the same time, I think as a coach, you have to draw a fine line between guys being themselves and then guys being on the team, and I think that's what some coaches do well and some coaches don't do well, because you have to make sure that guys are super focused on the game and football first and the team first and winning first as opposed to their personal promotion. And if you're a coach that can't control that, you're going to have problems with that player, and then it's going to trickle down to everyone else, and now you're going to have problems with your team.
As a retired player, do you like the direction the NFL is heading with the new safety measures that they're implementing?
I think it's tough, man. Football is football. It's football, man. You're going to get hit. At all levels in the NFL. You talk about people truly underestimate. I remember the one game this year. I didn't see the game, but I saw some of the highlights on Twitter. The Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game where Shazier was injured and all these guys were getting hit. That's been going on forever. That's football, number one. Number two, you're talking about rivalry games in the division. When I was in Tampa, we played Carolina. I didn't know. I just got to I didn't know Carolina and Tampa were big rivals. I found that out the first opening kickoff of the game. And actually warm-ups when, they're almost about to fight. And then I get to Chicago. Obviously, we're at Lambeau or, we're Soldier Field. We play in Green Bay. It's on, man. It's a different type of energy. Different. It's just different. Before pregame is different. the week of practice is different, and when the ball snap, even on the field, it's just a different kind of energy. The game is fast anyway, and it just picks up speed. Same thing when we play the Patriots at the Jets. It's like it's different. You know what I'm saying? Those games are different, and I think a lot of people were complaining, saying that wow, these guys are dirty players, and these guys is like, no, man, this is the NFL. Guys are trained every day in practice to knock the hell out of each other, to win, to dominate, to humiliate the next man in front of them. And if they don't do that, they're not going to have a job, because the guy behind them will do it. And if that guy behind them won't do it, they'll go spend money on someone that will come in and do it. So I don't know how the NFL is going to change the rules. I think some of the rules suck, especially for defensive guys. I think it's never going to be perfect, ever. It's impossible, because you're going to always have one side or the other that's not going to like the rule change. But I think I can't really say, man. I can't say that. I think they're trying to do the best they can with the concussion protocol situations, which is way better than when I came in. When I came in, it wasn't even a concussion. You just got dinged, or you got your bell rung, and then it's like, okay, you're back in. So, and there was no collective bargaining agreement where you could only have so many practices or full padded practices a season. That was my last season. So I came in the NFL 2000. We had practice sometimes at training camp 3 times a day. So it wasn't just twice a day; it was 3 times. And then when I was in Tampa, we played in Tokyo. So we started training camp July 13th. So we were in camp from July 13th all the way to the end of August. So when I look at the newer guys now, they're not starting until August 1st or January the 30th. Not January 30th, July 30th. Or like these times, and they're only in camp for like 2 weeks. It's like, what? I've been in camp for over a month. Like, so and then my last year was very awkward because of the collective bargaining agreement, where they only had, I think, 11 full padded practices during the season, and then in training camp we could only have 1 full padded practice a day or something like that. It was weird. So to answer your question, man, I think some of the rules suck for the defensive players. They really do, because it's not fair at all. It's not fair to those guys to punish them for things that they're being trained to do on a weekly basis. But at the same time, I guess they have to do something. So.
Yeah, and the game has changed so much. Like you said, we used to go to practices, when the Jets were at Hofstra, and you watch Parcells or all these guys. They were there 2 days, 3 days, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And like you said, now it's like 1 practice a day for an hour and 20 minutes. It's a complete change of the game, which is pretty wild. Thomas, I guess one of our last questions for you is, do you have a message for all the Jet fans out there, man? Because you were a huge fan favorite. When we announced you were coming on, everybody's like, oh, this is awesome, because everybody's always wanted to hear from you and just get some of your thoughts. So do you have a message for all the Jet fans out there?
Listen, man, I'm always saying Gangrene. Playing for the Jets was an incredible experience, man. And some of my most productive years. I understand the NFL is a business, and I learned that early in my career. So I was never really too disappointed when business transactions happen. Basically, when either you're released or you're traded. I did not want to leave Chicago at all. I wanted to stay in Chicago. I wanted to be a Bear forever. I loved my teammates there. I loved the fact that I got the chance to play, in the same position that Walter Payton played in Chicago. I had a picture of him in my locker. It was an incredible experience. But the fact that I was traded to the Jets, had a chance to play in New York City, met so many incredible people, man. So many incredible people at the Jets organization and just in New York in general. Lifelong friends I met now that I have because of that experience. The Jets fans, anytime I go to New York, I feel at home. It's incredible, man, and I appreciate the support on social media. I don't like I said, I'm not as connected to the game anymore. But the Jets verified Twitter page. Sometimes on my birthday they always wish me happy birthday, or they'll tweet out like a highlight video or something, and that means the world to me, man. Because to leave an impact on a major city like that and a fan base like that is very, very hard to do, and it's very special, man. So I just appreciate the Jets fans. I did not want to leave. Trust me. I think if I'd have stayed one more year, I think we could have gotten there. I had 1,100 yards at 29. I had 1,300 at 30, and I had 1,400 at 31. And then next year I go to Kansas City, sharing carries with Jamal Charles, and I have 900 yards, and he has about 1,500 in the same season. So if you do the math, you know, maybe I would have had 1,500 yards in my fourth year at the Jets. I mean, who knows? At the way I was playing at that time, physically, the shape I was in, I think I could have had another incredible season playing with those guys that I had gotten to be comfortable with. But, you know, unfortunately it didn't happen. So, you know, I want them to know I did not want to leave the Jets at all. You know, they cut me the day before my roster bonus, which I figured they would do the year before that, which is why I didn't come to the off-season program, because I wanted to work something out. Unfortunately, I didn't. But that's the business, man. But experience, I love all the Jets fans. I'm so grateful I had a chance to play there. And, yeah, man, I'll just continue to support me, man, in my post-career with, you know, my films and my TV shows and things. I'm working on a lot of different things, and I try to keep people posted on social media. But, yeah, man, Jet Up, Gangrene for life. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, well, Thomas, first of all, we were pissed when you left. Not going to lie to you, Jet fans, we were just angry as hell. And then when you didn't come back, we knew that you guys were so close. We were a vital part of that. And we tell you, you know how Jet fans are. We're vocal about our nonsense. So we were pissed when you left. And thank you for coming on, man, because, like I said, we're huge fans. We took a shot in the dark reaching out to you, and you've been so kind and generous to, you know, share a half hour with us. So thank you so much for your time tonight, and thank you for everything you did in the NFL, man. You had an excellent career.
Man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's really good to hear. You know, when you play so long, and like I said, I was a very low key player for the most part, and I didn't really realize, even statistically, you know, I didn't really keep up with my stats that much because I was just so focused on the next week, the next game, being consistent. And I look back and, you know, 10,500 yards and 68 touchdowns, and you know, I look at the stats, and the majority of that stuff, you know, a lot of that stuff came from the Jets. It came from my time in New York City, man. So yeah, I'm trust me, man. The feeling is mutual. I have a lot of respect for you guys too, and thanks for having me on.
Thomas, thank you very much, man. Have a great night. If you ever want to talk football again, man, we're always here for you.
I got you. Well, I might give you guys a call soon. I have a movie coming out this summer called A Violent Man, where I play a mixed martial arts fighter that's accused of murder. And it's playing in the Miami International Film Festival March 16th. So if you're in Miami, it's at the Regal Theater on South Beach at 9:30 p.m. It's a really, really good film. Denise Richards is in it. Chuck Liddell's in it. Bruce Davidson's in it. You'll get a chance to see me and Chuck in the Octagon, which will be pretty intense, man. It's a pretty intense movie. It's an action thriller with a lot of fight scenes. So, yeah, man, if I call you guys up, man, you know, don't block me, man, because I might give you guys a call so I can share this information.
Wait, Thomas, I'm an MMA fan, man. I love Chuck Liddell, dude. So you call back in, man. We got you.
I got you. I definitely will. When I get the dates, I'll definitely give you guys a call so you can share it with the Jets fans. And I appreciate it again, man. Great talking to you guys.
Thank you, man. Have a great night, Thomas.
Okay, you too. Thank you.